Well, good evening. I'm your host, Noel Clubb, here on the Club Tracks TV show. And welcome to Spanish Sports World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app from respective iOS and Android app stores, as the app is absolutely free. And while you download, please make sure to rate and leave a comment because we want to hear from you, folks. That's right, we want to hear from you. And Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire TV sticks. Roku and Roku sticks are also available on all smart TVs from 2016 forward. All right, welcome to the show, folks. Welcome to viewers at home watching the show around the world. And of course, let's introduce our special guest here this evening. And she's a Canadian singer and songwriter. She's released her latest empowering single called Kingdom Come. Please welcome Jennifer Lauren to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Very good, very good. How are you this evening?
I'm good. I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. Yeah, not too bad here on a sunny night. Good to hang out with you for an hour here on the show. So that's pretty cool. This is pretty cool.
It's a good Sunday night.
So you're originally from Ottawa, is that correct?
I am from Ottawa. Yeah. Not originally. I was born in Montreal.
Oh, very cool.
Grew up a little bit there, grew up a little bit in Sherbrooke, but then I moved here and I've been here for about half my life now.
Oh, in Sherbrooke as well. Very cool.
Yeah.
I used to have some friends out that way. I used to have some friends back in the 80s that just actually were from there years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Small world.
Yeah. I was there for a few years. Oh, it is. It's such a small world.
So whereabouts in Montreal? Were you in the old part of Montreal when you were there, or whereabouts were you back?
We lived in La Prairie. I cannot tell you exactly where that is. I'm terrible at geography. It's a very lovely place. And we had an awesome mini putt area, mini putt place. That's what I can
mini
tell
putt's a good game, so it's all good.
Yeah.
It's my kind of game, right on.
There you go.
So so we want to basically maybe mentioned as far as when you first started pursuing singing. How old were you when you first started discovering singing?
So the first time I kind of realized what singing was and that I wanted to do it, I think I was about 5 and I heard
Wow
sing My Heart Will Go On.
Is that right?
That was it for me. I was like, I want to do that. I want to do this. The song's so good. And my mom surprised me with concert tickets for Celine Dion because I became Celine Dion obsessed.
Wow.
And, I still remember the very first, when she walked up on stage, and I remember what she was wearing and everything. And it was just so interesting, even at that young age, to kind of understand the connection between audience and singer and just be like, I want that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
So that was the first kind of moment where I was like, this is it. This is the dream. And then I was a very unmotivated child with heavy imposter syndrome. Still have that to this day. And I was 17. I was in high school in class, and a teacher said, you have to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life because you have to go to school for it. And I just sat there thinking, I don't want to do the 9 to 5. I don't want to do all these other jobs. I want to be a singer. So that's when I took my very first singing lesson. I was in choirs and stuff like that before, but that's a whole different ball game. Once you actually sit down and take a lesson and or stand up in this case, but
yeah,
and like actually start learning. I was 17.
Interesting. So who are your earliest musical influences when you're growing up?
So way at the beginning growing up, so definitely Celine Dion, but from the get-go, I was very much into pop. I'm still very much into pop. So for me, it was very much like Spice Girls, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Oh my gosh, most unprofessional moment of my life. Do not disturb.
It's all good. Don't worry.
Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. That's kind of where I was at. Yeah.
Interesting. So then I will go back to 2017. So you're accepted into the prestigious ISINA Mentorship Program in Los Angeles, California. Mm-hmm. So how did you get selected in that program? And actually, how is that process like?
Yeah. So basically, I think it's the same process for application now, but back then it was $30 to apply with a song, or you can apply with multiple songs, but it was $30 a song. I think I put a couple in. And you just make up your profile, or all the artists do it. And this is musicians, singers, songwriters, DJs, basically anyone that's creating music in the music industry.
Right.
We're trying to. But yeah, so if ISINA kept you in the top 300, you had the chance to be selected for their 6-week mentorship.
Wow.
So I didn't hear from them or about them for about a year. So I had forgotten. I was like, oh, it's cool. I wasn't selected. You know, the amount of times you hear no or you just don't hear back, right? When trying to get into an industry like
exactly,
this.
right?
Like, that's cool, no problem. And then 3rd week of September 2017, I got a text from the guy, I guess, running it or managing it. It's like, hey, it's Alex from ISINA. How are you? You don't just get a random text, right? It's like,
Yeah, no kidding.
So yeah, so he we got on the phone. He said, "Are you in?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Cool, you leave in a week." It's like, oh, okay, I've got 3 jobs, and okay, we're gonna figure this out. So that was the process. I know now they've kind of relaunched after COVID and everything.
Yeah.
And I think the process is still about the same, but it's not the same type of program. Like I think they're getting finalists every month to come in for a few days into LA for a few days and do that. But yeah, for me, it was 6 weeks living as a singer in Los Angeles. It was pretty wild.
It's like a boot camp music kind of a camp, like a program.
Yeah,
basically.
but also it became a reality TV show that they were trying to do. So we're being filmed 24/7, but then it also kind of became a competition. Now I was very blessed to be named one of the winners, which was really cool. But yeah, it was a whirlwind. Like I didn't know what to expect, and they didn't really tell me what to expect. So I was really going in blind, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go live in this big house in Beverly Hills for 6 weeks with a bunch of singers and musicians that from all around the world. And I mean, everywhere,
literally,
which was incredible. And yeah, just be part of the industry for 6 weeks and just be a singer for 6 weeks, which was incredible. If I hadn't been sure yet, then that would have been it for me. You know, it would have kind of made everything concrete and final for me being, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So what would be the biggest lesson for you as a songwriter from that experience? And you can kind of take from that experience.
I think as a songwriter specifically, so songwriting isn't something that ever came to me easily, or, you know, I never really sat down and wrote. I'm not the one with a book of 100 songs, you know what I mean? Like it was never something that I could easily do. So being there back then, because that was really the beginning of me starting to release music and trying to get out there, but I wasn't writing much. But just being in the studio with people that are really in the industry and working with pretty incredible people, it's just kind of it was the start of the realization that like you need to just kind of show up and just pour everything you've got without judgment on yourself, towards others. Just kind of create, and you learn to create yourself a safe space and to know when you feel like you're not in one. Like you start to kind of realize, okay, I'm not really jiving with this kind of person, but this kind of person we're really going off of each other and really being creative. And the process is very different. I kind of started to feel that even though I got to record in really incredible studios. I got to record in the studio that they did Mary Poppins in. I get to do.
Yeah, right. Very cool.
Which is so crazy because I love Julie Andrews. Like I had a moment, but and I was in another studio where we recorded a song, and the very next morning, I think it was Nick Jonas that just like posted a little video of him in the studio playing piano, and I was like, oh, I was there last night. And it's not anything like fangirling or anything like that. It's just, oh, like I am working within the spaces that people who are doing what I want to do are right. But I also realized that I was like, you know what? I actually really prefer when we're recording in like a living room and we're sitting on a couch and we're hanging out. Right.
And intimate.
I got to kind of try so many different things and they gave us those opportunities. So I think my biggest lesson, honestly, throughout all of it was just, you got to know who you are and you got to know what you like, how you like to work, the kind of people you want to work with, what your goals are to move forward in the industry. Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, very true. Very true. And so moving forward, like in your experience over, like, say, I know you have big plans this year, but I think I read somewhere you want to do like 8 singles this year. So how is that coming along as far as your next single's concerned?
Yeah, I mean, COVID, definitely some bumps in the road with how many are going to be released this year specifically. But Kingdom Come's the third one that's out. Imposter and No Use came out before that. Next one is coming soon. We're in the works of just trying to figure out the visuals, and the song is ready to go, but now we have to come up with the artwork and the music video, if there
The
is
music
one,
video, right?
the lyric video, figure out what we want to do with that. It's a little bit different than my last three. My last three were a lot darker and more moody and a little bit more empowering and that kind of thing. Whereas this one is just kind of really same type of style, but more quirky and might make you chuckle a little bit, which is like kind of funny and very much not the usual that I go for. But I love this song. So, you want to make sure it's going to come out right. So I'm hoping by end of October, it'll be out.
Oh, very good. Okay, so not far off then, really, because
we're
almost halfway through September already.
I know, this year.
And where does summer go, by the way? I don't know.
It's gone. It's completely gone. It's nuts.
Yeah, we got robbed this year. That's all I know.
We did.
In Canada, we had some tough summers sometimes like that. So that's
weird summers.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us about your latest single, which is released, I believe, in July, right? Kingdom Come was released back in July.
Yes, it was.
How's that going so far?
It's going well. Got a little bit more reach with it, which is really cool. I get to do stuff like this, which is really fun.
Yeah, it's always fun.
I think what's kind of nice about it is this was the first song so basically how this song came about, I bought a track from this really amazing producer called Ghost. He's from Russia.
Out of Russia, yeah.
Yeah, and he was recommended to me end of 2020. And I think on like Christmas Eve, he had a sale. He had a Christmas sale. I was like, I'm going to go check this out. I ended up buying like 7 tracks from him. Like his stuff is insane. And so this track, I started listening to it and I was like, man, I really want to do something with this. And then kind of good timing, I got a message from an artist that I had seen before. I actually sang with her cousin and we had met before. I think literally the first time I met, I like jumped in because they needed a singer. They were doing this big event for her birthday party and someone dropped out. So we kind of met like that, but didn't really speak.
Yeah.
She messaged me and she's like, oh, I was talking to Carte Blanche, who's my engineer / producer / everything. I adore him. And anyway, so I was like, you know what? I've got this track I really want to try out. Let's just get on Zoom and see what happens. And it's funny because I think we talked about this later, but we both kind of thought at first, we're like, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to jive, right? I don't know if we're going to kind of work it out together. And then all of a sudden it's like it clicked and we started writing like my best song ever for sure. And we were listening to it and the track is called Throne. And we were listening and she said this to me and I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, Throne feels right with this. There's something about it that just makes sense, which is probably why he called it that. So we went off of that. We went on Pinterest. We went on, Google and stuff and just looked up pictures that would inspire us. And I kind of started getting this storyline in my head. I was like, I kind of want to write about this. And I want it to be this kind of theme and this kind of concept. And that was probably the first song when we finished it. Like I had chills. I've never been so confident. That was the first time I didn't send the song to anyone for their opinions.
Is that right? Interesting.
Yeah. I was always very unsure when I would do other songs. I'd be like, oh, well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And send it to everybody that I can.
Yeah.
And get opinions. And this one I was like, I don't care. This song is dope. I'm in love with it. I don't want to change anything about it. We're going to the studio and we're doing this.
Yeah. It's a great track. It's a very great track. I like the synth effect with that industrial kind of feel to it. Yeah, it does have a pop feel to it, which I do find that kind of interesting because you really don't feel. And that's my experience. Like I listen to industrial music. I don't hear that pop element to it, but your song, I do hear that pop element to that. Dark synthy, industrial kind of sound. Yeah,
it's a really cool mix, and I love
it. It is very unique mix. Don't see it very often.
Yeah, and I love the lyrics. This was the first song that I wrote that much of one of my songs. Like it was really 50-50 with my co-writer. And before that, I was very kind of timid in the background, and everybody's so quick with their ideas and stuff. And with this one, I was just all in. And it's interesting because it was the first time that I didn't ask for an opinion. And it's the first time that people came back and said, like, people in the industry are like, this is dope. I want to help you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Stand up.
just to go with the lesson I got from ISINA, where it was, you have to go in with who you are and nobody else. Stop comparing to other people, all that. Just
Right
be
on.
you. And sometimes that just, I mean, hopefully that just clicks, right?
Yeah, no, but actually, he hit the nail on the head. I mean, I come across this a lot, right, as a host on two shows. One's in boxing, and one being here in music. I deal with I talk to like really high level people a lot, and they all this the same comment, which is just made basically there essentially, which is you got to believe in what you're doing, and because that's really the first thing. Once you start questioning what you're doing, then of course everything kind of I do find kind of falls apart. Once you really believe what you're doing, and I just find you kind of fall, like you said earlier, you kind of fall into this track, into this kind of zone. And these things kind of come together more and more. You try to start track those more of those people that actually are on the same page with you as time goes on. And just good things always happen, I find, once you find that self-independence, where you want to call that thing, that self-freedom, where say, no, like I know what I want to do, where I want to go.
Yeah, and it's really finding who you are. Like when I did ISINA,
and the courage to do that.
Yeah, and when I was in ISINA, I really didn't. I didn't know who I was as an artist. Now I was just trying to figure it out. I was just starting to build my brand, trying to figure that out. But I really didn't know who I was at all. And that was the main message, is you need to know who you are. And then I thought, well,
very true.
I need to figure this out. And I think all those years later, I'm in a place where I'm just like, yeah, this is how we're going to do it. And even, you know, when I'm at the point where even when other people are like, yeah, but if you do it this way, it's going to come up better this way. I'm like, no, like this is, I hear you. And because you always have to be open, right?
Yeah,
like you can't just close yourself off to everything, because then you stop hearing the actual good advice as well, right?
Yeah, close off all the good
there
stuff.
Are certain things like what you need to wear, the kind of makeup, your hair, your this. I'm like, no, this is me. This is who I am, period. I want this kind of music, and especially your music, you can't mess with that, right? You always have to be
it's your brand, it's you.
It's aligned. Yeah, and you have to make sure that it's aligned with your goals, right? Because you have those people that are like, no, this is my music and my artistry, and I know it's weird and it doesn't make sense, but it's me. And we're like, okay, cool. Well, you're gonna have less listeners for this. And they're like, oh, but I want to be super famous. Okay, well, you got to listen a little bit and make sure that it's somewhat familiar and this and that. So that kind of thing you have to stay open to, right? It has to align with your goals. I've got some really big goals, so I have to be open to that. But I'm in a place, I think with Kingdom Come, I put myself in a place where I really am loving it and I want to be in and I want to grow in.
That's great. It's great. Say you got a great track to build off right there. So who's behind making the video of Kingdom Come, by the way?
A very awesome man named Akil McKenzie from Falling Motion. They work out of Toronto. And I've done my last, from No Regrets to I think 4 more tracks after that. And then Kingdom Come, I've done like all my visuals with them. And they are truly awesome. I'd recommend them to any artist.
Very good. That's a great looking video too, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you. It was the most grueling day of my life. It was so it was like 20
hours.
Oh my goodness. It was a solid, probably a 10 to 12 hours. It was
12 hours? Because it's usually long shoots,
and which doesn't bother me. I'm cool with that. What wasn't great was we decided to film this in an attic of an old building, and it was in the middle of a heat wave and there was zero airflow.
Oh boy.
So it literally felt like you're walking into a sauna.
Yeah.
They were so professional the whole way through. I'm complaining the whole time. I'm running to the mirror just because I got low blood pressure. And I'm like, well, it's probably not a good idea if I pass out in the middle of this shoot. So every time they're like, oh, let's fix this light. I'm like, yeah, 2 minutes. Awesome. And then I'd run out and go find the nearest fan and be like, oh my God.
Relief. Thank God.
Yeah. And of course me, because I am decided on my brand and what I'm going to wear. And that's pants and a hoodie. So
on the hottest day of the year, right on.
Yeah. So it was insane, but they were incredible right up until the moment he said, that's a wrap. And they all went, oh my God. And I'm like, thank you. Join my world. No, it was incredible. It was really, really cool. I love that music video.
Yeah, it's a real standout. Of course, the track's a great standout. So that's good to have that great matchup where it's a good video with a great song.
Yeah.
Let's name the game, eh? Again, branding.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to ask you about, because I know you have a co-writer, and is that Miranda Boutros. How long you guys been together writing songs?
So Kingdom Come was the first one. So
Gotcha.
When did we start writing? It must have been this summer.
So still quite new, quite recent.
Maybe spring. If we released it end of July, we filmed it end of June. We probably I think we recorded it when it finally started to open back up again in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, probably like late September is the first time, or sorry, not September, late spring.
Late spring.
We started writing together. Yeah. So we've got a bunch of other songs that we're working on right now. There's one that I'm ridiculously excited about. Yeah, it's been great. And I'm like excited to keep writing with her, and Kingdom Come was a really good start. So hopefully we keep that going.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a great combination there.
Yeah.
Very well done. Very well done. So of course during the lockdown, so you have like a lot of songs right now in the kind of the back burner, if you would, right now. You're kind of looking at releasing. So 3 tracks right now, kind of working on 4 tracks kind of thing.
Yeah. We've got a good handful going right now. There's one that's done, ready to go. We just need to figure out the visuals for it and release it. The other ones are still in the making.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. So when do you have any plans of releasing an album, a full-length record in time, or just want to stick to more of the singles right now?
Sticking more to singles right now. I would love to do an album, definitely a dream project of mine. But I will do it when it is asked for, right? So
until such time.
Well, and because a lot of artists who don't have necessarily an audience yet may have an audience, just not a huge audience.
Right.
Just jump into making an album or an EP, and they release like 10 songs, but nobody's there to give it the attention it deserves. And then you've got all this time, all this money that's just kind of thrown into the world of singles right now. We're in a world where people are streaming specific songs, taking songs out of albums and putting them into playlists, or just listening to that one. So yeah, I'm sticking with singles for now. Once the audience demands for more, I will happily oblige.
Yeah, no, I hear you. This is again, reflection of the times right now. It's actually kind of reminds me of the 50s and early 60s, which when it was like highly single based music scene. So it's kind of like kind of seeing that again, that cycling thing. Here we go again.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
It is.
Like that come back around in a whole new world.
I was hopefully it would come back to be like 60s all over again. It becomes like really, really revolutionary again.
Right.
That comes next to me. Yeah, right on. Okay, I can handle this. I can take this.
No, it's always exciting just seeing where music goes, and even just the pop genre, right? Because pop, like it's not one specific thing, right? So it's like it's always super interesting how it evolves and seeing where it goes. I get really excited about that for sure.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I've had a lot of different artists on the show every week, and I'm seeing like more and more these different genres being married up to another genre that you never really think of before. But they kind of found it, discovered it, created it, and evolved it, and now you have this very unique sound. So I'm hearing a lot of jazz with pop, a little rock into like one song. So you hear a lot of unique combinations, which you didn't really hear that much of years and years ago. That are very, very good, very well written. But underappreciated, maybe don't get enough exposure. But there's a lot of great stuff out of Canada, I have to say.
Definitely. Oh, Canada is pumping out some crazy.
A lot of great stuff in Canada.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. We're definitely putting ourselves on the map for sure.
Yeah. That's what we wish we could make some more noise for us, because I mean, again, the talent I'm seeing right now is unfortunately the mainstream is kind of bearing. I find the good stuff is actually below the mainstream right now. This is what's my experience. But that's a lot of good stuff.
What's also interesting with the way things are now is things are it's not just what's on the radio. It's not just what's on the top 40.
Correct. It's beyond that.
We've got places like TikTok, and we've got, stuff like that where all these really cool musicians, these independent artists, or people who have been signed and just not discovered yet, like blow up. And then and then it ends up on the radio, and then it ends up on the top 40. So it's pretty cool. It's interesting how all of that's evolving.
It is, and it's still evolving as we speak. Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. So what are some other kind of other big challenges you have as being a young artist, besides being that part of the picture? What's the other challenges you face as a young artist today?
So speaking of all that exposure, yeah, I think one of the tricky things with the way it's really easy to create music. It's really easy to release it. It's insanely cheap to release it. So really, like, whether even if you have a really strict budget, you know what I mean, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of us doing it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us are really good. So it's trying to find your audience and find, because I
Yeah.
do think that there's room for everyone. I honestly do. Like, there are so many people on this planet, and we take in so much content now. And we like music. And like I said, Spotify, you take one song here, and make these massive playlists and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so I think there's room for everybody, but it's finding your almost like breakthrough point where you start to reach that bigger audience, and so that part's definitely pretty tricky. And then just because everything's online, everybody's successes are online. You only see the polished version of people online, right?
Correct. Yeah. Not the
Become
real thing.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts to become difficult not to compare. Um, Not to, and you can still, I've definitely have moments. For me, it's very important to celebrate people's successes and people's, awesome goals that have been reached, or surprise opportunities that come along. So I'm always really happy for them. But I definitely have my moments of like, oh man, like, when's it my turn? Like, when do I get to do this too? And it's never instead of, but you always get that feeling of like, oh man, like, I would love to tell people like this is happening and this is that, but you have to. I very, very strongly believe that everybody has their own journey and everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to sit back and tell yourself to chill out and
Yeah.
come when it comes and the way it's supposed to come, and just to stay open for them. But yeah, I think those are kind of some pretty good challenges. I think a lot of artists deal with this, but I personally deal with some pretty heavy imposter syndrome. Wrote a whole song about it. But so yeah, that can be pretty crippling sometimes.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
wanting to
Great
move forward.
subject matter. Great subject matter. Bring that up.
Well, yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know what imposter syndrome is, it's basically the idea is you just think you're a fraud. No matter what success you get in life, you just think you're a fraud. You're like, oh, I'm not actually
Right.
supposed to be here, or you don't think you deserve to be here, that kind of thing. So yeah, that can be rough. That can be really
Definitely.
rough. And it pulls you back, or you
Yeah.
go into something not
Sets
as
it back for sure.
yeah. So the whole fake it till you make it thing was very much part of my life, where I'm like, okay, I know I'm feeling that imposter syndrome thing right now, but we got to go in like we deserve, and that stuff. But I recently I was watching a bunch of industry people on Zoom talking. I'm part of this program called the Songwriter Academy.
Very
Anyone
cool.
looking to grow their songwriting skill and make connections and all that should definitely check it out. It's incredible. But they do this thing called After Hours. And so it's the guy that runs the show and a bunch of other mentors that get together. And I asked the question, how do you deal with imposter syndrome?
Mm-hmm.
And it became this huge conversation. And, they mentioned you have to know the difference between imposter and failure.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of people were saying we're imposters, we feel like frauds, but we're just treating ourselves like failures, is what it is. I'm not successful enough right now. I'm this age and I haven't achieved this
Right.
level.
And got this just yet. Yeah.
Yeah. And one that like kind of oddly hit me, they said it kind of in two different ways. And one was, if you're invited into a room, it's because you're supposed to be there. You deserve to be there. You work to be there. You're not pretending, right? Like, you were invited into it, so you're meant to be there. And then the other one was, this one's a little cornier, but it kind of hit, and it was to acknowledge the magic that you do have in you, the talent that you do have in you. And I was like, ooh, okay, like, I haven't done that. I just go and I like to sing, so I want to sing, and I like to write, so I want to write, and I want to do this and that. And it was like, no, like, wait, you actually can do this. Like, that's just part of it. It's something that's special about you, or that that you can do really well, So kind of balancing that out with the imposter in me going, should you though? Should you be you're trying to do this, but like, yeah, right? So yeah, so it's pretty cool. I think it's very important to surround yourself, whether that's your friends or family, or if you don't have that kind of support around you, go find it. right?
Yeah.
There are people out there who want to give it.
Correct.
So, yeah, I'm
And
always
that's
happy.
game-changing stuff too. You're mentioning there, it's this game-changing stuff.
Yeah, well, and it is. It's pretty. Once you surround yourself with people that have similar goals or similar types of goals, and even if that's just the drive to succeed in something you're passionate about, that's a goal right there. And everybody has that on some level. You know what I mean? So once you or most people have that. Not everybody has that.
Not everybody has that, but we have the capacity to do that. But it's up to us to actually find that.
You're not surrounded by people who have that drive and that passion. So finding the people who are passionate like that will change a lot for you and just kind of change your perception of things and how you see yourself and what it is that you want to do. So I'm pretty lucky to have been around some pretty amazing people.
It's so true. I say, plus it's going to help, kind of basically elevate you along the way too in many different ways. So all that stuff. It's just like a synergy. It's good synergy. It kind of evolves and grows as long as you keep that momentum moving forward. That same one thought, that one connection, that one thought, essentially. Then it goes the right direction. Well said over there, but well done.
Thank you. A little bit of wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of do it all here on this show. So we're kind of touching, of course, online stuff there. So were you doing a lot of online performances during the lockdown?
I did a couple. I think I jumped on once, just kind of doing covers or singing my own stuff, doing little like instrumentals, sorry, not instrumentals, but acoustics, that kind of thing. I did one with my friend that I befriended at ISINA, where she's from New Zealand. So we kind of matched up times and we got on together, and she sang some of her new stuff and I sang some of my new stuff. We did that. But I will say COVID, I kind of turned inward. I didn't.
Is that right?
I wasn't super on social media. I wasn't trying to push anything. I very much turned inward, and I don't know. It was very like, excuse me. I just kind of learned a lot about myself, and just kind of had to sit back and think, because everybody was saying like, you should be doing shows, you should be online, you should be doing this and this and this. And all I kept thinking is, I have no idea what to post. I'm a social media marketer. I have no idea what to post. I don't know what to put out there. I don't know what to do. And so that kind of made me go, okay, well, maybe we got to rethink this. Like, I'm not happy posting things anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. Right. I was like, well, let's get to know what we're doing. Right. So I kind of I moved out, I got my own place. I had a lot of alone time. Obviously, a lot of people had a lot of alone time.
Sure did.
I figured out like, okay, what are my goals? What's my brand? What do I want to look like when I present myself out there? Did a lot of meditating, manifesting, all that good stuff. So yeah, it was not too much going on online and not too many shows going on. And I was actually I started to plan doing a show that I was going to do in town at this cafe that I'm in love with. And I was going to stream it online and stuff. And I'm almost happy it didn't really happen then, because I feel like I wasn't as strongly aware of what I wanted my brand and what I wanted to do.
Yeah, we want to be kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So I'm kind of glad I got a bit of that downtime, I guess, where I could just kind of turn inward and really kind of figure out what it is that I want to do and how I want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what.
That makes a lot of sense.
Doing.
That's actually you're evolving right there. You're thinking about it. The thought's expanding. You're exploring other avenues in that thought where you want to take it. That's evolution right there. So
and I signed up for a couple programs. I'm doing the songwriting program. I'm doing a sync and licensing program, so to get my music on TV and movies.
Excellent.
Doing all that stuff. So just a lot of learning. Yeah.
No kidding. So actually talking about TV, I know a couple of your songs were actually featured on a Russian show last little while. You're going to kind of share more and expand more on that. So
that was actually connected through the ISINA program. So one of the songs, so the song Now or Never, I recorded while I was there. And so they loved that song. And then the other one was my song, but I released it while I was there. So they just messaged me one day and they said, the show in Russia wants to put your music in the show. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, I'm down. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. No brainer.
That's really cool. thankfully, at that time, I was working a receptionist job where the girl next to me was from Russia. And so when the show came out, I was like, what are they saying? What's
Yeah,
about
no kidding.
and
No
then all the
kidding.
people commenting and finding me online and talking to me in Russian, I was like, what are they saying? But yeah, so and Now or Never ended up playing in the first episode of the third season, and then Enemy played in the fourth episode, I think. And it was cool because they were both kind of featured songs, which just means that the song is at the front and you hear it and there's no talking or anything during it. So
That's
that's
the best kind
cool.
of song you want.
Yeah, and then right before it kind of came out, I found out that this was like the top rated detective drama in Russia, and I was like, oh,
wow.
like, awesome.
Very cool. Very
yeah,
cool.
It was like 48 hours, and they were like, okay, yep, we're ready to go. We'll let you know when it's out. And the crazy thing is one of those songs wasn't out yet. So I had all these Russians finding me being like, hey, where's this song? We love it. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, it's coming, I promise. Yeah, but I loved it because I'm obsessed with movies. I'm obsessed with TV shows. I'm a professional binger. So I loved having my music part of that. I can't act, so I can't be in a movie or show. It would be horrible. So, but I figure I'm pretty good at singing, and they need
yeah, exactly.
right. So I'm like, let's make this happen. So I ended up signing up for that program and learning all about it. But yeah, so that's the goal. That's one of the goals, is definitely to get more of those.
Oh, no kidding. I mean, like, you can't even buy that kind of publicity, right? That kind of exposure. Just having your couple songs on a TV show that's that big in that country. That's phenomenal.
Especially with Shazam now, right? People are just like, oh, I like this song. And
yeah, Shazam, right? Yeah, so check a song. Oh yeah, I like that song. Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get analytics every week to tell me how many Shazams I got and which songs were Shazammed, and it's those songs from that show.
Interesting. Very cool.
Pretty cool.
Very, very cool. Yeah, wow. Very cool stuff there.
Yeah, exciting.
So we're talking about because when you have done like a lot of vocal, like you've done like a lot of live shows before pandemic. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So what kind of your vocal preparation for you before you perform live or before live in the studio? What kind of rituals do you go through?
Yeah, so vocal warm up is very, very important. Basically, that's me in the car just blasting a vocal warm up track and singing along to it, just doing all those crazy weird sounds that everybody's like, I don't understand. Like, they're probably looking into my car thinking I'm absolutely insane. Like, wow. Like, but yeah, so lots and lots of vocal warm up. And that, I mean, I'm saying lots and lots. That'll depend on the day. If I was singing earlier that day, I'm not too much. And then sometimes I just have a really tight jaw and I have to figure that out and all that stuff. Lots of water and tea. And I'll do I'll do some manifestation, sometimes a meditation if I'm feeling a little jumpy that day or something like that, or just like excess energy. And I found too, there were a couple times, like if I'm feeling kind of sluggish that day, I'll do like a little mini workout just to kind of get the heart pumping a little bit.
The endorphins up as well, yeah.
Yeah, so that I can like be on stage or in the studio and like actually give some energy. Yeah, so that's kind of what that looks like. Yeah, nothing too strict. I figure when I start performing a lot more and stuff like that, and time is a little bit different and tighter, I'll have something a little bit more kind of streamlined. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'll do before a performance or going to the studio.
Yeah, right on. And it comes actually because you touched on it earlier, and again was meditation. So, what kind of form of meditation do you actually practice? Because I mean, there are so many out there. What do you actually
and I'm not going to say that I'm like super well versed in it or that I'm like a pro or anything like that. I think for me, I find ones like sometimes on YouTube. I've bought a couple online before. I'm really loving the Headspace one. Netflix and Headspace collaborated. And so I love their stuff. But basically, I'll usually just try and find a meditation that aligns with the energy I want to be giving off or the thoughts that I want to have, whatever I'm doing.
Are you more like a verbal, or is it more of a visual for you, that experience when you're meditating? How does that work for you? Is it verbal?
That's interesting. Yeah, I think I'm more visual. Like I like
the visual.
that will tell me to visualize something, and it really puts me in that space. But then that being said, I'll usually write down and say out loud some manifestations as well after the meditation, just to kind of put in some, not to put in positivity, but just to set a positive mind, because I think that's really important.
like a mantra, basically. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Which means continuous word over and over again.
It'll usually
create a vibration.
It'll usually be a sentence. Like if I'm going to go do a performance and I'm not feeling 100% about it, I'll say, I am confident. I can't remember exactly. It's been a while since I performed, but if I'm not confident in this, or if I think I'm going to forget my lyrics, I'll be like, I know my lyrics. I know my music. I am my music.
Right.
And, I am confident. I am a performer. I am this. And it's just and that's just pushing back the imposter syndrome, right? Being like, I'm not pretending here. I worked my butt off to do this, to not suck when I go on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy it with me. Right. So, so just really simple things like that, just to kind of click yourself and put yourself into that positive vibration and into that place, that space of success.
Yeah, that's a key phrase. That vibration is really the key phrase. You're trying to get yourself in that vibrational state. And
something my vocal coach, who's really into this stuff as well, said to me, and it's almost like this, but then when it's said to you, it like clicks and you're like, oh wait, you're right. And it's never to attract positivity, because then you're insinuating that you're negative. So you're trying to attract positivity, but to actually just be positive.
Yeah.
I thought that was so interesting. I was like, oh, you're right. Like I'm not saying like I am going to be confident. Positivity comes to me. I am it. I am positivity, and it radiates from me.
Yeah.
So,
we create it. We create that, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because we are basically, I hate to say this in terms, I'm not spiritual, I'm not religious, I'm saying, but I'm a big believer in spirituality as far as, the individual being basically formless and, living many lives and intuition, all these things. I'm a big believer of those things. I've seen it firsthand too throughout life. And
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yes, when you hear from someone else like yourself, like, okay, yeah, very cool. Yeah, it's always good to hear another person's perspective and experience from that.
Definitely. Yeah, I love those stories. I think they're really cool.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on here. So is there any musicians or artists out there you want to collaborate with as a possibility down the road?
Oh man, that list is so long.
Huge list, is it?
Oh my God. It could be right now, I'm really obsessed with Billie Eilish's new stuff. I've been obsessed with Billie Eilish the whole time, but her new stuff is insane and I'm really loving it. So I'd love to collaborate with her. Khalid, Harry Styles, H.E.R, and whether that's just like writing together or actually being on a track together someday or something like that. That would be amazing. But then I'll think of artists that are like Demi Lovato is a huge, a huge role model to me. So working in any capacity with her would be pretty incredible. But then I have like artists like Daddy Yankee. Like if you told me that like Daddy Yankee, one of us was going to feature on the other song, like I'd be done. Like my childhood is done. Like the little me that watched Fast and Furious at like 8 years old, like I'm done. Like I'm good. Success has been reached. I can retire. I'm good. The list is huge, but those are kind of the top ones that I've been thinking about lately that I'm like, oh, that would be really cool.
Right on. Got dream good. Well, got dream big. That's for sure, right? Got dream big.
I'm a professional at that. I can tell you.
Yeah. Well, what's so cool here? I mean, you're in a position right now where you can make that transition. Like that's not. It's not a far fathom of thought. It's actually quite true.
It's a very and that's a weird spot for me. That's where the imposter syndrome tries to slide back in. But I'm like,
but it's very, very possible in your situation.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be as far out of reach as I think it is, right?
Yeah.
So I just have to look at it as baby steps, and those little baby steps take me to those big landings where I'm just like, I'm gonna hang out here for a minute.
Exactly. That's right, folks. Baby steps. That's it.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Live by them.
So about the baby steps, you'll get there. You'll get there. So
Thank
true.
you. I take those vibes. I take that energy.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Yes. Take it all.
Well, talk about some more vibes and quick questions. Quick questions here for you, which is some
Okay.
quick questions on different little things here and there. See what your thoughts are. So my first little question, my quick question for you: Beatles or Stones? Who would you prefer? Who's your choice? Beatles or Stones?
Probably Beatles. I feel like
Beatles.
I heard that more as a kid growing up.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Me too. I grew up on both, but Beatles have always kind of had more impact on me.
Yeah,
And the world, for that matter.
I remember, I'm sure I heard the Stones growing up too. I think I just remember hearing the Beatles and just kind of hitting harder.
Yeah.
My dad played a song or if something came on the radio or something like that. Yeah. I can also distinctly remember Aerosmith. I was very obsessed with Aerosmith.
Oh, is that right, eh? But early Aerosmith or later Aerosmith?
I'm remembering a Gray album.
Like, Gray album, okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm remembering. And it was that song Steven Tyler did, that kind of ballad. Oh, what's it called? Shoot. I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, babe. And I don't want to miss a thing. Oh, man.
Yeah. That's later. Yeah, it's later. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. No, I was super obsessed with that. But yeah. So I guess the Beatles.
Beatles, right on. Oh, still good call. Good call. Just want to get your opinion there, but yeah, I totally agree with you as well. Michael Jackson or Prince? Who would you take over there?
Michael Jackson. I don't think I listened that much to Prince. That's a goal of mine, though. I want to listen to more of Prince, but Michael Jackson was definitely more present in the stuff I was listening to.
Gotcha. So what about Prince? The thing we want to explore in his career comes to Prince. You want to explore a little further?
Yeah, I think I would hear like a song of his here and there, but it's been like a goal of mine where I just want to sit down and actually just like listen to all his stuff. And because there's got to be, he was one of the people that really changed pop, and the same with Michael Jackson. They really changed pop.
They did, yeah.
They changed music in a pretty drastic way. So I think it's important to at least listen to it and hear it.
I'd have to say Michael Jackson, as much as he had a tough last couple decades of his life, just with all the things going on in his family and so forth. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the guy did so much, and had such a huge impact. I mean, I always still think of Thriller when it first came out in '82. I mean, that was just a huge record, and so innovative with that the video Thriller was actually like a mini movie, and just really innovative and
it changed the industry. It was insane.
It was. It was a game-changing record when it came out. Thrillers, absolutely game-changing. Yeah, I mean, I still remember it to this day. Amazing stuff. 60s or 70s? What would you take?
70s.
70s. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Still, no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
No wrong answer here whatsoever.
The disco, the rock, it was really cool.
Yeah, definitely. 70s or 80s?
Probably stick with the 70s.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Right on. What was the best album ever made?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Again, there's no wrong answer. No one's going to judge you here, so don't worry.
Idea. Because you know what? I'm trying to think, like, I used to listen to full albums, probably like a teen, like if I was taking trips and stuff like that. But I was really into like Much Music, or in Quebec, Musique Plus. So like the countdown. Right. So I was never spending that much time on like one album.
Gotcha.
But man, like I probably listened to the full album from Christina Aguilera. That was probably one of my favorites.
First one?
Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, her first record, her debut record.
I want to say yes. I think so. Yes.
Was the Genie in Bottle one? Is that same? Yeah. Gotcha.
So I was probably listening to that a lot. Yeah, that's hard for me. I just like really specific songs and stuff.
That's cool. That's still cool. Well, how about this one? Best single ever. Ooh.
Oh man.
Best single ever.
Ever?
Pick.
I can't pick. I will tell you, I am obsessed with. Is it Happy Ever? Yeah, Happy Ever After by Billie Eilish right now. Obsessed.
Right on.
I think it's
Yeah.
genius. And her song NDA too. I'm obsessed. But Happy Ever After is insane.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great track.
Yeah, so I'm pretty obsessed with that one right now. Is it the greatest one ever? I have no idea.
Well, again, it's all subjective. What rings the bell with you? What kind of sets us in as far as what you
someone
prefer?
picking their favorite kid and being like, "This is the greatest kid ever. You two can sit over there." Like, I don't know. Yeah, it depends on the time of my life and the mood and the this. Oh man.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's also what we're talking about here. It's just moments that kind of trigger your interest.
Right now, NDA or not it. Well, that one's good. But Happy Ever After is insane to me.
Yeah, right on. All right, cities, Ottawa or Toronto?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say Toronto.
Really? Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, because I love visiting my friend there, and we always try different foods. That's like something really fun that I get to do there. And usually, like all my videos, I film over there and stuff. So yeah, I'll say Toronto.
Nice. Yeah, so true. I mean, I can say about Montreal too. I mean, but Toronto, so many hidden gems in the city of great restaurants and food spots that
and it never
ends. Hole in the wall and going, oh my god, I had no idea this place was here. And is that great?
Exactly. Yeah. Probably Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah. No, right on. Good call. Favorite movie ever? Dun, dun, dun.
How do you pick these things? Can I answer Marvel?
To make your life difficult. That's what I do.
Right now, I am staring at my bookcase filled with DVDs because I'm that weirdo that collects DVDs.
Well, me too. Actually, me too. I'm one of the
I love it. I just have like a drop in the bucket of what other people do. But I see it as only the beginning, I just say Marvel because I'm obsessed with Marvel right now.
Yeah, actually, I've been watching a lot of Marvel too. There's just so many Marvel movies out there.
Oh man, I rewatched it, all of them this year, but I did it in chronological order.
Yeah.
To go with the storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty into it.
I'm guilty of that too, by the way. Yeah, I'm guilty of that one too.
Totally. Yeah. I'm all up in the series on Disney Plus, and so I'm just gonna say Marvel.
Marvel, yeah. Yeah, I watched the same plus Iron Man. The first Iron Man has been a few times.
Man,
for the 100 millionth time again. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Fast and Furious, the whole thing.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, for me, I really enjoyed the last. I think the last 4 or 5. I thought was kind of.
I haven't seen
high action.
I haven't seen Fast 9 yet, so no spoilers. But yeah, the last few are crazy.
Yeah, really.
And crazy. I love every second of it.
High octane, high energy. Yeah. Just like you. Right on.
That's really funny. Just because I'm like the chillest, most low energy person you'll ever meet, but
well, so far it's been a good interview, so I would have to say the exact opposite. So. Well, hey Jennifer, actually we're out of time, so I just want to thank you for your time coming on this Sunday evening and talking about you and what you're up to, and Kingdom Come, the great single you got out there, great empowering single you got out there, by the way. So
thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. So hopefully I'll see you again real soon. Stay in touch, right?
Definitely. Stay tuned. If anybody wants to come and say hi, I'm on Instagram at JenLauren_. But yeah, no, stay tuned. More is coming.
And where can they find the record again? Where can we find your record?
Anywhere, wherever you're listening to music. Just look up Kingdom Come by Jennifer Lauren and you will find it. Beautiful. That's great to hear. Well, thanks, Jennifer. Great interview. Great time with you, hanging out with you. It's a great time. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great rest of your night, a fantastic rest of your summer. Yeah, I'll try to. Hey, just like you, eh? Let's make the best of these last dying days of summertime. Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks again. Thanks for joining me, and thanks, folks, for watching this show. And we'll see you all real soon. Take care. All the best. Bye. And, of course, Zingo TV. Watch for all the news. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Love it, everyone. We'll see you soon. Thank you. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks. Take care. Good night.